What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another video today. We're going to be breaking down the Week 9 matchup between the Texans and Jaguars. I'm going to look at Deshaun's brilliance, show why Duke Johnson is better than David Johnson, how Jonathan Greenard flashed a ton of promise, and how Lonnie Johnson played at safety. If you enjoy the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Now, let's break down the film between the Texans and the Jaguars, because the film don't lie. Deshaun has been playing some of the best football of his career over his past 5 games. He's actually one of only 5 quarterbacks to have a passer rating of 105 or better in 5 consecutive games. It's a pretty random stat, yeah, but that's great company to be in. What really impressed me during the Jags game was his ball placement. I talked about it in my 2019 film breakdown on Deshaun, but Watson's ball placement is top notch. He absolutely threads the needle here to Brandon Cooks on the deep over. Look at Miles Jack on this one. He plays this as well as he can and is in perfect place, but a perfect throw can beat perfect coverage, and Watson was dealing. Here's another nice one, not as tough of a throw, but it was super important that the ball was placed out in front of Akins. He doesn't create a ton of separation on the route, there's good coverage by the DB, but again, Watson throws him open by leading it out in front where only Akins can make the catch. My favorite example of great ball placement was actually on the Fuller touchdown. It was a beautiful throw, catch, and run, and there's not a whole lot the Jags could do about it, because Watson put the ball right where it needed to be based on the coverage he saw. So the Jags are in cover 1. We know that because when we motion Cooks across the formation, they have a defender follow him, thus man coverage, and with the single high, it's not a cover 2 man look, right? It's cover 1. So rookie cornerback CJ Henderson is in press man coverage, and with minimal safety help, Watson already knows he has an advantage with Fuller. Off the snap though, Fuller doesn't just burn him right away. Henderson is actually in pretty good position, and he stays in good position throughout the entire route. But remember what I said about throwing someone open? Watson does it beautifully here. And while I don't know 100% for sure this is what he meant to do, I'm not in his brain, but I do believe he purposely led Fuller inside like this, and here's why. With Henderson in man coverage, he doesn't have his eyes towards the cornerback and towards the ball, like if he was in zone. Plus, he's in what's called trail technique, where he's sort of going to be playing Fuller from behind. He's also trying to squeeze Watson to the sideline, and with Fuller running a go, he's using that sideline as an extra defender. He's anticipating the throw to be outside. That's where quarterbacks usually are supposed to throw this, not inside. So Henderson is in pretty good position here to make a play on the ball, but Watson outsmarts him. He knows that Henderson knows that this is supposed to be outside, and that would work if Fuller had more of a step on him. But since he doesn't, Watson floats it up and puts it inside, knowing that Henderson is going to continue squeezing outside and not look back at the ball before Fuller will. He can also afford to float it up like this because the Jags drop a linebacker into that single high zone instead of a typical safety. That linebacker ain't making it over to the sideline even if you float it up like that, unlike an Earl Thomas would. Lastly, Fuller is on the same page as Watson, reading the ball inside, making a great adjustment, and once he gets the ball, you ain't catching that motherfucker. Beautiful play. One final example of good ball placement, and the Jags crowd the line of scrimmage here but only send 4. Laremy Tunsil has an extremely rare bad rep, and Watson has to dip. He did this all day long, and we'll get to that, but look at the throw to Cooks. That was picture perfect. We've seen Watson toss these throws to Nuke on the sideline all the time for the toe drag swag, and he can't throw it too far outside or else Cooks can't stay in bounds, right? But he also can't throw it inside at all, as the cornerback is still close enough to make a play. But that scramble and throw leads me perfectly to my next point, and that's how Deshaun avoided Jacksonville all damn day. Yeah, they ain't really Jacksonville anymore, but the Jags defensive line was doing their best damn impersonation of it, imposing their will on our offensive line and getting in the backfield all day. Zach Fulton and Nick Martin had 2 of the worst games of their entire career, and interior pressure is usually a death sentence for a quarterback. It's much harder to escape interior pressure than exterior pressure, but Watson is a magician nonetheless. We know this. It didn't matter if nothing was open downfield. It didn't matter if the pocket was collapsing. Watson wasn't taking the sack. This was really one of the games where he showed a ton of fight and heart, and no play was more evident of that than this one. Two guys should have had him here, but he slips out of their grasp and tries to lay out for the touchdown. He gets nailed and he should have slid, but these are the types of plays that energize your teammates and the fan base, even during a throwaway season. Watson wanted the dub. He wanted it bad. And every time the offense looked down and out, he would will them to a first down, will them down the field, and will them into the end zone. It was probably one of his best rushing performances of his career, and on these crucial third downs, Watson was always up to the task. On the blitz here, no one is open at the top of his drop. Like, where is he supposed to go? And it looks like impending doom. But Watson breaks the arm tackle, hops out of grasp, and gets the first down. I know the season seems hopeless, but thank God we have this man to watch week in and week out, always seem to pull a rabbit out of his hat. The kid is special, and we really got to do our best to get him a better team, head coach, GM, and eventually a ring. Alright, let's move on to Duke Johnson. The box score, it will look ugly, I'm not gonna lie, and he still didn't have some amazing, remarkable day, but he was without a doubt better than David Johnson in the running and receiving game. In the running game, he made simple cuts to pick up extra yardage that the offensive line didn't block for him. Yes, there's good space here because the defensive end flies upfield, but look at the two unblocked defenders. Duke turns this from a no gain to 4 yards. Still not a huge run, but David has not been able to make defenders miss this year whatsoever. So his success is dependent solely on the offensive line, which has been run blocking horribly. Their run blocking was still atrocious this game, but Duke was able to pick up those extra yards, making the most out of a poor situation. His vision to find cutbacks and willingness to actually cut it back was huge in my opinion. On this run out of I formation, Nick Martin is going to get blown back. This has happened a ton this season, and you can't tell me David Johnson wouldn't have just usually ran into traffic here and maybe squeaked out a yard. But Duke ain't happy with that. He sees that Clemente and Tunsil have made their second level blocks, so he knows there's only one guy he needs to make miss on the backside. He makes that one cut upfield, leading the defensive end upfield a little bit more to mess with his pursuit angle. Then he makes another cut fully outside once that defensive end is in that poor pursuit. Look at how much space he covers on that one cut. He's got juice that David just doesn't have, unfortunately. And because of that elusive ability, he can somewhat make up for porous blocking. Not everything needs to be perfect like it needs to be with David. There were so many runs that usually would have been for a no gain or for a loss even, but watching Duke run was refreshing. Feed him more. This was one of my favorites, and again it's a cutback. Duke sees that there's nowhere to go, and instead of settling for a yard or two in all of this traffic, he trusts his athleticism and ability to beat a cornerback one-on-one. Great cut, and that's an impressive 5 yards. That was all him. Not the offensive line, not the scheme, all Duke, making shit happen. The running was refreshing, but that ability to pick up extra yards was also seen in the receiving game. We've known Duke is a problem in the receiving game since we traded for him, but he's never been a big part of the offense. He got 20 total touches versus the Jags, the most in his career, and I genuinely don't think we win this game without him. He was critical on certain plays and keeping the offense on schedule rather than behind. And look at him run his feet here to pick up more yards after contact. He runs hard, a lot harder than someone else, and that means a lot to me. Let's move on to the defensive side of the ball though and take a look at rookie linebacker Jonathan Greenard. He wasn't perfect, I will admit, but he flashed his potential and made more plays this one game than Scarlett has all season. The first thing I want to start with is his ability to set the edge. I made a video talking about the issues with the Texans run defense. It was the Steelers film breakdown if you do want to check it out, but a major issue we have is our outside linebackers, Merck, Scarlett, they were getting killed on the edge, even by tight ends, and that just can't happen. But Greenard? Nah, he ain't letting a tight end block him and win the edge like that. He needs to do it more consistently, but look at him shed the block and make the tackle. Greenard's got strong hands, so when he shoots them into the chest right here, he can control the tight end completely. This is honestly such a refreshing thing to see, And with Scarlett out for the season, I imagine a lot of his snaps going to Greenard if he continues to play the run like this. One small thing I liked about his run defense is that he played past the whistle. Even if the running back wasn't coming his way, he wasn't lazy and just stopped running and let his teammates make the play. He rallied to the ball and was often the second or third guy to make contact. Yeah, he didn't make the stop himself, and these aren't crazy important plays, but coaches love the little effort and hustle like that. It's a mentality thing with him, showing that he's willing to do all the little things to get more playing time and improve. I know Merck and Scarlett weren't doing this season, and it's an important thing for everyone to rally to the ball, especially when we've been tackling as bad as we have this year. We need that second, third effort, and Greenard is going to bring that every down. Left tackle Cam Robinson wasn't finishing his blocks well, and Greenard took advantage. Now let's look at his pass rushing, and he showed some good and bad. I like the bull rush here where he shows great power, driving his hands into the chest of the left tackle and collapsing the pocket. This forces the quarterback to step up just a bit as he's scared of Greenard's presence. Thus, he's got nowhere to go when Watt comes free. To be completely honest, Greenard was the most consistent edge defender in getting pressure this game. Yes, Watt had a sack, but Greenard had a bunch of pressures and beat his man all day long. He just couldn't finish. And the major reason why he couldn't finish is because he wasn't able to bend to the quarterback. As a pass rusher, first you've got to get past the offensive lineman in front of you. That part is obvious. And Greenard did a fairly good job of that. Coming out of college though, he was one of the most refined pass rushers in the country, being able to use his great hand technique and a variety of moves. But he was never the most athletic guy. We're seeing that early in the season as well. Here's a nice advanced move where Greenard is going to fake inside with his inside foot, head, and shoulders, then cross chop and go outside. He beats Robinson's left arm and forces him to lunge. This should be a sack. But look at how many steps it takes for Greenard to fully flip his hips towards the quarterback. It's not fluid, he wastes movement and precious milliseconds here, and Cam can push him past the quarterback. It's a great move, but it doesn't matter how good your move is if you can't finish. All day long, Greenard was able to beat Robinson's hands and win to the outside. It looked easy for him at times, but time and time again he couldn't bend aggressively. Here he uses a nice two-hand swipe move to get the hands off of him. He was really good at timing these punches and made Robinson look silly, but you aren't finishing sacks if you can't bend. It was a problem in college and it's a problem now. How much Greenard is able to improve this aspect of his game will be pivotal for his future success in the league. Is he a Jadeveon Clowney who wreaks havoc and gets loads of pressures, or can he actually finish his sacks like a JJ Watt? We shall see. The last thing I wanted to quickly break down is how Lonnie played at safety, and we'll just take a look at a couple plays, but let's first look at the touchdown on the second play of the game. The Jags come out in a 3x1 bunch formation to the field side, and the Texans are in a cover 3. Since the bunch is to this side, Lonnie's supposed to shade towards there, which he does. But look at the quarterback's eyes. He's staring down Chark for most of the play. Yes, as a single high safety, you don't want to get baited by the quarterback looking right, moving you out of position, and then giving up a throw to the left. But it's Jake Lofton for crying out loud, bruh, staring down his wide receiver 1 early in the game. Of course he wants to go to his best guy. He's the only guy he trusts. So Lonnie needs to anticipate this throw better and break on it much quicker than he did. To add insult to injury, he takes a poor pursuit angle and can't even make the tackle. Now it's not great by Lonnie, but I don't think he's the most person to blame on this play. That achievement would go to Vernon Hargreaves, who, in this cover 3 playing bail technique, he cannot let a wide receiver get past him. You have to be deeper than the deepest wide receiver when you're this cover 3 boundary corner. But he offers no resistance and is burnt instantly. That's just sad. But getting back to Lonnie, and later in the game, you could see how that missed tackle on the touchdown made him rethink his movements. He makes the tackle here, again as a single high safety, but this is a throw that he could have made a play on with the correct angle. The quarterback stares down Chark yet again, but Lonnie has to stay disciplined because Chark could be running a dig route here. He's got inside leverage on the cornerback, so Lonnie needs to at least be in position to help inside. But Chark takes it outside, and look at Lonnie. He breaks as soon as he sees Chark break, but the angle is again the issue. On the touchdown, he was way too aggressive and he couldn't make the tackle. On this one, he's a bit more passive. This angle is just way too flat. He makes a tackle, obviously it's better, but he could have taken this one step sharper and been right at the catch point. It's these extreme minor subtleties that come with learning an entirely new position that make it extremely tough for Lonnie to transition to safety. And it's why I did not want to just give up on him on cornerback after just 1 year. Making the transition to cornerback is tough enough. Making another transition to safety? What are we doing here? One thing the Texans can do to possibly ease his transition is to have him play some box safety. Here he rotates down and reads the screen nicely. He can tell that this wide receiver is going out to block the cornerback and breaks downhill quickly. This was his most impressive play as a safety all season for me. Tackling Laviska Shenault, who's the hardest Jaguar to tackle on the team. The dude constantly breaks and evades tackles, but Lonnie ain't having it. I'd rather have him in the box where he can use his physicality and size than as the single high free safety. Let Jay Reed play that role, where he's better at it as well. Weaver, Rack, whoever's calling the defense, this has got to change in my opinion. Alright, that'll do it for the video. If you enjoyed, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Huge shout out to all the Texans Thoughts team members. If y'all want to join the team and get some exclusive content and perks, hit the join button below for just $3.99. Alright, take care everyone, come back for more, and remember, the film don't lie.